Poplar Forest Capital.
Order of bread service.
Good morning to you all, and congratulations on your success. I'm John Blau from Poplar Forest Capital. Poplar Forest is a boutique investment manager that emphasizes high conviction and active management, contrarian thinking, and long-term outperformance. If this resonates with you, our Chief Investment Officer and Founder, Dale Harvey, is here today. Some of you may remember Dale from his American Fund days. Please stop by our table. Dale would love to meet you. I'm honored to introduce Brian Werdesheim from the Summa Group at Oppenheimer. I've known Brian for 20 years. He's the finest client advocate I know. He understands what clients care about, he understands what keeps them awake at night, and he's honest with them. Brian's going to talk about client advocacy and why it's so important. Before he does, I want to share a brief story to illustrate why Brian is the right person to address this subject. Brian told me very early on in my career something I'll never forget. He said, when it comes to clients, if you can't manage the relationship, you can't manage the portfolio. It wasn't until I attended a Summa client event that Brian invited me to several years later that I fully understood what he meant by this. The featured speaker that night still does, one of the leading college placement organizations in the country. And he's helped Summa's clients navigate the stressful, challenging world of college admissions. In my experience, it's extremely rare to attend a client event where clients are fully engaged, taking notes, literally on the edge of their seats, hands raised with questions. I'd never seen anything like this before. It may seem self-defeating to admit that clients, they don't have this level of engagement with their investment managers, but they don't. They care about their children. They care about their children's futures, and as Jeff Erdman alluded to earlier, they care about not just passing along their money, but also their values. Brian not only gets this, he helps make it happen. So please welcome Brian Werdesheim.
Thank you, John. Great to be up here. This business over the years, when you're in it long enough, you develop certain relationships with people. And with John, he's been a great advocate for the Summa Group for a long time. Having met Dale Harvey back in 2009, we've been very fortunate to have his stewardship for our clients' capital. So thank you very much, Dale. And John, thank you very much for the introduction. RJ, welcome back. It's great to have you back. You do it better than anybody else. There's a level of authenticity behind what you do. I think the people in this room really appreciate it. You're definitely a cut above, so thank you very much. When I woke up this morning thinking maybe you had it out for me, putting me in between Brian Westbrook and Howard Marks as a speaker up here in front of the best and brightest in the investment world. So I'm tasked with, having to give some advice, and I'm looking forward to doing that. But I gotta feel like it's the same thing as giving Tom Brady and Bill Belichick advice on how to win Super Bowls, or Serena Williams advice on how to win Grand Slams, or Stephon Curry advice on how to improve his three-point shot percentage. But I'm looking forward to it. Client advocacy is the subject. How many times have you seen this movie before? One of your primary referral sources calls to let you know their client recently had a large liquidity event. They want you to present, but there will be 4 other advisors right behind you. The prospective client will have endured a day of meetings, and by the time they are finished, they are blurry-eyed, they're tired, and likely more confused than they were before the day started. Meanwhile, you walk out feeling fantastic, confident, and certain you are getting that business. And maybe you will. The 5 meetings are now complete, and the client looks to his CPA or his investment banker or the M&A attorney and says, well, They were all outstanding. They all said the right things. They all looked great and sounded very smart. But I really don't know how to differentiate one from the other. What do you think? The scenario I just described is one you've all experienced, and while you'll win your fair share of these opportunities, I want to arm you with a game plan, a strategy that will dramatically increase your close rate on new business and allow you to extract much larger amounts of capital from your existing clients. There are two words that I use to describe this powerful approach to differentiation, and it is client advocacy. What is it? For me, it's taking total ownership of my client and prospects' biggest concerns, challenges, anxieties, and fears so I can formulate a strategy for making them disappear. Through a strategic line of questioning and meeting number one, you will not only have an opportunity to uncover the issues that matter most and are most urgent, the person on the other side of this table will begin to view you through a completely different lens. Not merely someone who will attempt to preserve and grow their estate, but someone who has the intellect and the resources and the ability to deliver solutions that will dramatically improve the quality of their life. Large balance sheets bring complexity and challenges that have little to do with whether you earn them 6, 8, or 10%. Health, education, succession issues, philanthropy, legacy, trust, and estate-related matters take center stage. These are typically the issues they care most about and prefer to work with a team that has the awareness, experience, and resources to conquer them. At the conclusion of a portfolio review several years back, I asked our 40-something-year-old client how his father was doing. There was a pause. He said he recently had dinner with his father, who had suffered a heart attack a couple years back. The father shared that he had a regular visit with his cardiologist, someone that he kind of inherited after the heart attack earlier in the afternoon. How did it go, the son asked. Well, I guess it was okay, but the doctor wasn't offering much conviction or a game plan for how I was going to get healthy. It made the son feel very uneasy. I told the son that I didn't like what I was hearing at all, and I asked for and received his permission to get him over to UCLA Medical, where I have some very good relationships. An appointment was made for the following day with one of their top cardiologists, somebody who typically doesn't see people on short notice. Ultimately, an angiogram was performed due to some of the doctor's concerns. The test revealed 4 blocked arteries with 90% blockage in one of them. Within a week, I helped him schedule what turned out to be a 10-hour quadruple bypass operation with their top surgeon, who was booked for several months out. The surgeon advised the family their father was in imminent danger and was fortunate to have this timely intervention. I was grateful to be in a position to help, and today, they often credit me with saving his life. Often clients initially entrust a group of advisors who are given equal amounts of capital. You've all been there. After receiving $5 million from this family of ours who sold their nutritional science company to a publicly traded European conglomerate several years ago, my focus now turned to more about what was truly important to them. Initially, there were 3 hotspots that I discovered, which had absolutely zero relevance to traditional wealth management issues. The father needed intellectual stimulation now that his business was sold. They wanted to integrate into their new community, but lacked a social network. Their highly educated 40-something-year-old son was interested in gaining access and exposure to an elite, respected, and talented group of people. Fortuitously, I had a relationship with the head of the nutritional science program at a major university in Southern California, where today he is a frequent guest lecturer. The head of this program shares our clients' ethnicity and has helped them meet many new friends and establish a social network in their new community. In the meantime, I was able to make a number of strategic introductions for the son, which have led to relationships and opportunities he never would have imagined possible. These introductions have proved to be a game changer for this only child, as he created a number of very successful businesses that are now thriving. They now have a virtual office that the Suma Group architected for them, and we quarterback now the largest percentage of this client's estate. To the extent you can demonstrate an awareness, a sensitivity, and an ability to help solve their issues, you are now playing the game at an entirely different level. While the other guys and gals are talking about active versus passive, or hedge funds versus SMAs or mutual funds, or why your performance is going to be better than the next guy or gal that's in the room, you're talking about how you can help chart a path for success for their child, as RJ shared in his story last night. How you can help a retired business owner stay stimulated and active and help immerse a relocated family into their new community. How you can dramatically increase the caliber and exposure for your clients to people and opportunities, and maybe even how you can help save a life. So yes, it's absolutely critical that you have the ability, and everybody in this room certainly does, to deliver a world-class wealth management capability. But here is the stark reality. It's almost presumed by the prospective client, the teams invited to the party by their trusted advisor, are all equally qualified to deliver an investment experience that's going to accomplish that client's objectives. And there's a really good chance that prospective client will not be able to differentiate based on the pretty pitch books and the fancy suits and dresses that entered the room that day. So during that hour or so that you have to demonstrate differentiation amongst a crowded field, client advocacy will forever change the way your client and your prospect views you and your role in their lives. Your ability to win a higher percentage of competitive cases and increase dramatically the amount of assets that you get from current clients will be dramatically enhanced. So the next time you find yourself as the lead character in this movie that we've all seen so many times, look at that person sitting across the table and say in the most genuine and heartfelt way, "John, when you put your head to your pillow at night and awake in the morning, what are the issues, challenges, and concerns you most often think about and hope to solve to improve the quality and overall satisfaction of you and your family's life?" You might be surprised at the response. Thank you.
Please welcome to the stage